The S&P 500 jumped off of the cliff, did a backflip, landed, and someone tapped on the shoulder and said, "I'm afraid you've got to jump one more time. There is another cliff to jump off." And when the S&P 500 goes down, it normally brings the euro with it. It normally weakens the euro. As you can see here, it looks like the euro is going to jump off the next cliff over the next coming days. As the fear, uncertainty and doubt about the geopolitical situation goes on, is the pumpage into gold still going to continue as it did before? I'm guessing it will. The stocks values are going down, the S&P 500 is going down, the gold price is going up, the oil price is going up, and the US government bonds 2 and 10-year yields are also going up. So has this all got a massive connection together? I'm guessing over the coming weeks and months we are definitely going to have an answer to that one question. And through all of the research that I do every single day, it seems to be that the US government bonds are always the first thing that you should be looking at when you want to talk about how the economic growth or the economic system is doing right now, and how the likes of gold or oil or crypto assets are going to go over the coming year, and then how the US government is going to be in that 1 or 2 year period. It looks like the oil price has been taking a breather because there has been possible like peace talks or talks between different countries about geopolitical situations. But I'm kind of guessing there's going to be another tension coming up over the next week or something. So I'd like to think that the price of oil is going to increase even higher. I think it would just be wishful thinking to think that it would go down when the likes of the S&P 500's going down, the stock prices are going down. It is just wishful thinking. So let's just assume that we are going to see higher prices in oil. Tesla is one of those stocks where you just know that it's going to do well in the future. Tesla, whether you like it or not, is leaps and bounds in front of any car industry and also many other industries. So when the price of Tesla goes down a little bit, it's normal. It's a thing that happens. And I definitely did buy lots of Tesla yesterday. And if it stays at that price today or goes even lower, I will buy in some more as well, because it is only going to grow. If Tesla can't grow, nothing can grow. The coin market cap's fear and greed index is currently showing 60, so we're still on the borderline between greed and neutral, or we are on greed still. The other fear and greed index is showing 67, so on greed. The market's fear and greed index is showing now 38, so we're stayed within fear. From yesterday we were on 37 as well, and the almighty Bitcoin halving of 2024 is now 2 days, 16 hours, 25 minutes and 5 seconds away. And most importantly, my name is David Thorne, you are watching David's videos, and today is the 17th of April, currently 8:39. If you are new to my channel, I make lots of different types of videos, from drone flying, programming, electronics, talking about my life in Germany, but you came to this video because of the Bitcoin price analysis. Now, if you do decide to subscribe to my channel, if you do in the future see other videos that I've released that maybe are not your type of thing, maybe it's something that you don't like, I will not be offended if you just scroll by. And when you do see Bitcoin price analysis videos, they will always start with BTC or Bitcoin or something about cryptocurrency, something like that. So just like I said, just scroll by if the video, it doesn't take your fancy. If you are, however, interested in watching any of the other Bitcoin price analysis videos that I have currently made, then just jump over to this Bitcoin price analysis playlist, where you can see all of the videos listed in order, and they're all annotated with the amount of change that Bitcoin had on that one day, its open and close price. So like I said, if you are interested in listening to what my thoughts were on that one day about the Bitcoin price, then jump over to this playlist and check that out. But for the time being, I would suggest just listening to this video, because it is about what I think the price of today will do. Something I really have to say is that I am not a financial advisor. I am not a professional trader. I'm literally just a guy sat in front of his monitor, looking at the screen, looking at the different price change of Bitcoin with regards to his own portfolio. Me and my wife, we invested into Bitcoin, more than likely in the wrong place, but we stuck through, we pushed through, and it was very painful when it dropped down all the way to 15,000, and we didn't buy any, which we both regret. But this is how the cryptocurrency world is. But what I want to say to you is that these videos are a log of me, of my thoughts about when I do or don't want to invest into Bitcoin. So please, if you want to watch, please feel free to take what I've got to say, but do your own due diligence on this. It's your money, it's your investments, and ultimately you're the person that's going to lose or profit from any decision that you make. Now, feel free to listen to what I've got to say, use it as information, but make sure you listen to other people as well, and then hopefully you get some form of confluence with all the same information coming together that they are doing, and you think, oh, that could be a good idea. Now, before we move on to the Bitcoin price analysis, I just want to tell you that I do this for free, right? I do very much enjoy doing this as well. Although I just want to have a small ask from you that you just like this one video. That's the only payment that I really want. I don't need any Patreon. I don't need any buy me a cup of coffee or anything like that. Just simply showing me a little bit of feedback, giving me a like. So before we continue, I'm more than happy to wait for you right now, and so you can just quickly click that like button, or if you want to subscribe because you want to be notified tomorrow or another day when I do make the video, so take the time right now to subscribe, and then we've got that out the way, and then there's no more talking about this in the future. With that all out the way, let's jump straight into doing the Bitcoin price analysis of the 17th of April 2024. So as I said, now it is 5 to 9 in the morning. I've tried a different format today of making the introduction. That's why there's a bit of a time lapse between the introduction and now. So if you did notice or you did think there was any changes, please let me know. Anyway, right, let's, as normal, we zoom out on the weekly level, and we can see that yes, we've made a new high over the past 6 weeks. If you didn't know that, then we have made a new high, all-time new high over the past 6 weeks. And we can see there's a possible weakness at the top right here. So we could say that we have possibly seen the top. Now, I would say if when you look at the bottom here, that the bottom very much went sideways, right? And there wasn't lots of volume here. And when we saw some consolidation here in this area, that wasn't the top, but it was a sideways motion. And then we saw, okay, a kind of downwards motion here, downwards motion, but we also saw, I'm cherry picking now, a sideways motion here. So my question is right now is, have we reached the top? Or are we on a consolidation? Or are we on one of these like downward motions ready to go up and down and sideways for even longer? Obviously, only time will tell on this, but right now I would expect to possibly see a sideways motion, because if we were going to see this big dump right now, we would have already seen last week and the previous week big red candles going down. We haven't seen that. We have seen the slightest of corrections. So there is a little bit of hope still in the price of Bitcoin. Now, obviously, in 2 days' time or nearly 3 days' time, the Bitcoin halving is going to come. And it seems to be that there are still people buying more Bitcoin per day than what can actually be mined per day. So the demand is definitely there. How the price of Bitcoin is going to affect in say like a week's time with the other Asian ETFs coming or already come and so on, or more people jumping in, and the likes of BlackRock and other companies, they've only allocated a tiny percentage, and it's not even reached 1% yet of all of their assets. So what is the price of Bitcoin going to be like? Now, if you are deciding to get into Bitcoin right now, then I wouldn't say no to it, right? I wouldn't say no to it, but what I will say is please don't just jump with all of your funds in one go, in one transaction. What I would advise, if this is what you want to do, is get into Bitcoin just on increments, right? And set yourself intervals all the time and just keep going in. And the more you do it, the more you'll start to see when the price of Bitcoin goes down, when the price of Bitcoin goes up. And so in order to be able to learn how to do this, you've got to like zoom out first of all on the weekly level and see, okay, which way is the market going? Because the market is the master. So this is now where my philosophy starts, and we'll use my philosophy over the whole video to be able to spot entry points and exit points. Now, I'm not a master at this, I'm not an expert at this, but I've done quite well so far, all right? And I have managed to expand our portfolio pretty well. So using my techniques right now, this is what my thoughts is. Now, you need to be a contrarian, right? However, there is only a time to put the contrarian hat on. Right now, shouldn't have the contrarian hat on. What we should have on is our herd. We should be moving with the herd. And the herd right now is saying they want the price to go to 500 million. They want the price to go up. So let's just go with the herd. But we can be a little bit cautious. We can maybe be at the back of the pack and say, okay, we're still coming with you. We're not going to argue with you, but we're going to just be a little bit cautious. But we're going to continue doing what you do. Now, in order for us to see that we are getting that bigger price movement going any higher, we need to zoom in once again. Now, on the chart, we see the exponential moving averages. We have the 5, the 8, the 15, the 50, the 200, and the 300. And right now, the moving averages, they are lower, right? So the 5, the 8, and the 15, they are inverted, which means that they are creating lower prices all the time. But you can see here, there's some form of like bouncing resistance on the 50. So, or we could just say, there's two ways of looking at this. We could just say that we are going sideways. Now, if you want to talk about this, I've talked about it in yesterday's video. So go back and watch yesterday's video if you want to talk about a sideways motion. But right now, if we assume that we are going to make a bounce and to go up, this is the first idea, is that this is a bounce and now we're going to see a strong push through with the Bitcoin halving. We would expect over the coming days or maybe over the weekend to see the actual pump go. So, you know, if you are going to get into Bitcoin, right now would be if you are on the assumption or the future assumption that Bitcoin is going to pump next week and over the time, then this would be a very good time to get into buying into Bitcoin. Now, I still would advise buying a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, and if it does go down, buy a little bit more, and if it does go down, buy a little bit more. And, you know, as long as you just buy a little bit, then it doesn't matter. I mean, long term, as long as your idea of investment is long term, say 10, 15 years, then it's okay as long as you buy a little bit all the time, because that's called dollar cost averaging. And over a long period of time, your average should increase to be lower price. So you should always be in profit, basically. The other question is, what about if it does go down, and where is it possibly going to? Well, I would assume that if it can break this one point here, and we're not going to delve too deep into it, then we would assume that it's going to come down to this point here. And if it goes down to this point here, then we'll just make another video about that. But right now, let's just say that we have hit a bottom, and if it does, for some geopolitical reason or black swan event, come down to here, then this is where it's going to come. And if that even continues, then you should expect lower prices. But like I said, that's videos and talks for another day. Right now, the euphoria or the sentiment of the market is all about higher prices. So let's just go with that, and let's assume that we might just see it tap a little bit, but come the end of the week, it comes up here. So let's look for some confluence for this to say that it is actually going to do that movement in moving it upwards. So we need some form of confirmation that it's telling us that it could move up. On a daily level right now, it's more than likely telling us that there's lower prices to come. I know you probably don't want to hear it, but my eyes see right now that we are going to see even more dumpage on this. So when we come over to the 4-hour time frame, we can see that we've got this kind of support level, or we know there's buyers here. I don't like saying this is a support level. We know that there were buyers in the past here, so there's likely buyers down here again. So if we do see the price dump down to this, then we would assume that there will be people buying and buying heavily, because we saw lots of people were buying in this one zone, and so we would assume that we would see lots of people buying once again. Now, if there aren't any buyers there, this is the tragic thing. If there's no buyers there, then we would expect the price to drop down to here. Now, if there are lots of buyers here, then we would expect the price to come up really, really quickly. But you then have to see the journey on the other way. We have to ask the question is, where are the people selling and how hard are they selling and what points are they going to sell at? So you could name them this resistance zones, but really a market is all about a buyer and a seller who is wanting to sell something, who is wanting to buy something. So you have to ask your question is, where are the people selling going to be selling hard? And at one point, they're not going to be, if they know the market is going to move up higher very, very quickly, they're not going to sell here if they know they can wait one day and sell even higher. And if they see the momentum going, the price going up, then they're going to sell at an even higher price. So they're going to be moving their offers even higher, right, to take even higher profit. So this is the way that you've got to think, is where are the sellers and where are the buyers? So right now, in order to get out of this trench, let's call it, we've seen like this first move, this second move, this third move, and then we've saw a spike to the lower prices and come back up again. So we would either expect that the 5, the 8, and the 15, or the 5 and the 8 would close above the 15, right? And that would have to push through to bring the 5 and the 8 above the 50. And if we saw that, we'd be in around this 62,800 mark. Now, we would want to see really that the price comes back down and tests this zone to say, hey, you were a resistance zone where there were people selling. Now, are you buyers, right? So we want to see the sellers turn into the buyers here. And if that is the case, then we should see the price break through this line here, and then it will come back and do the same thing. We want to see that all the people that were selling here are now converted to people buying. So there's more buyers than there are sellers, and we would hope to see that the sellers move their offers up here, because they don't necessarily have to sell here, right? They just have to make the market think that that is where people are selling. So as long as they can suck all of the other sellers up to here, right, with the hope that they can sell at a higher profit, this is what we need. We need the liquidity to move away from this zone and bring it up here for us to see the price go up. If no one is selling, then the price has only got to increase. And on the other way, if no one is buying, the price has got to go down. Okay, so you have to find the liquidity, and you have to find an area where everyone is agreed upon the price as well, to have stability in the price. Now, we could see the price going sideways here for a little bit longer. We could see it coming all the way over to say Monday or Tuesday. So we could see this being a range here now of either accumulation or of distribution. Now, if this is accumulation time here, and the longer the accumulation happens here, the more powerful the breakout to the top side is going to be, because it meant that lots and lots of people have bought in at that price. Now, we might just see that the price comes down here, comes back up to the top of the range and back down to the range and here. And this could be a really, really long-term accumulation ready for higher prices. This also could be, and get ready for it if you don't want to hear this type of stuff, this could be just a really, really long-term selling and distribution and ready for going back down to say 30,000. But you have to think both sides of the market, all right? We have to see the ups and the downs with it. If you just want to be euphoric all the time and say it's going to go up and I'm a moon boy and yes, up, 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 up. And the only people that make money from Bitcoin are the ones that sell Bitcoin. You have to buy it low and sell high. So just hoping that the price is going to go up, at one point it's going to slap you in the face. So let's move into the hour time frame. Now, the hour time frame, we saw, this is what's really interesting, and it kind of gives us more confluence of what we just said a minute ago. We've seen some form of consolidation here. Now, is this a consolidation to move up? Is this a fake out down the bottom ready to push the price up higher? Because we had like this fake out above. So is this now the fake out down to confuse people which direction it's going to go? And you can see here that we had some form of consolidation here with lots of fake outs below, fake out above, and then it faked out down below and then continued going across. So are we going to see, and we can see that it's come and tested this region once again. So this is what I was saying earlier about that there is a resistance here, right? But now the resistance is coming to test. Are you now buyers in this zone, or are you sellers, or is there no one buying and selling here? Now, in this situation, if there is no one buying here, you would expect the price to zip back down again. However, if there are people still buying here, then that would say, oh, the price is agreed upon that it is higher than this. So, but it's a good sign right now. We're on 9 o'clock, 9 minutes past 9. It's a kind of good sign that we do see a little bit of a wick on the bottom, but the fact that we see no volume is worrying me a little bit here, because we had this big candle here. So we've got to try and kind of fill this area now. So let's move into the 30-minute time frame, and we can now see that we've got a little bit more volume than before, but the price, if it does close, and we've got like 21 more minutes inside of underneath the 50, then we would expect to see the 5, the 8, and the 15 invert again, ready to see lower prices. But what we want is, if we're going to see some stability in prices moving higher, we'd want to see some consolidation in this one zone. But I don't think there will be. However, you can see right now, and we're only like 10 minutes in, we can see there is buying power here, pushing the price back up again. So people are trying to sell it, but there is enough buyers to push the price back up. And this is what we want to see for strength. So let's jump into the 15-minute time frame, and we see purple. So we see more than average volume right now. And if this goes red, we see lots of volume. But this wick here is showing there's lots of buyers too, because if someone is buying, someone's selling, someone's got to be buying. But we saw this blue candle here, and the blue candle is the opposite of a purple candle. There's more buying than selling. But you see there's liquidity around here. So if we move this over to this blue candle here, we know that the price shot through this area really quickly. So this area has an imbalance in price. So the price has to come back down. And we can see now here that there's no imbalance in price in this one zone, because the price went up and down. It consolidated. Everyone agreed that the price was that price for that one time. And then they all thought, okay, maybe the price is up here. But the sellers said, no, it's not. And it came back down. And the buyers were like, they weren't here, they were down here, or they're in this zone right now. So we are seeing that these areas are being filled, and we're starting to see where the buyers are and where the sellers are, right? But we can see there are lots of buyers and sellers in this one candle. So let's go down into the 5-minute time frame, and we now see a red candle. So we see there's lots of volume, but the great thing about a red candle is that we know that there's an imbalance in price, and the imbalance in price needs to be filled at one point. So we can look at this and say, okay, at one point in this red candle, it's got to be filled. We've got to see this consolidation inside this one zone. Whether we see it in the next hour or whether we see it in the next 3 days or something is another question. We could just as easily see the price zip down really fast and see another red candle and then come all the way down to say this one zone here, and we could expect to see that there are buyers here. But right now we have that green candle that we just talked about, and what we want to know is whether or not this green candle here is going to get filled. Well, with this red candle zipping through it, we saw that there was no liquidity in this one zone, but this green candle, or this grayish candle right now, is showing that there is liquidity here. There are people in the middle of this one candle buying. So if we do see some sideways movement for say even like say 25-30 minutes, then we saw some form of consolidation that with this candle has been kind of balanced. We saw the price come back to it again. Now, if this does turn in the next 2 minutes, this candle turns red and pumps all the way down, then this is illiquid, this area. There's no people there. Right, so time will tell in this video what's going to happen. So let's jump into the 1-minute time frame now, and this is exactly what you can see happening right now. Here, you can see that we come back to this. There's the blue candle there, right? There's the blue candle there, and we saw that the price just zoomed straight through. So we saw it zoom straight through that area. So there was no people selling there, which is why the price went all the way up to the top here. And now we can see that there was no one buying in that one candle. And yes, okay, if we zoom in even further, we can see that there was no buying in that one candle, and we saw low volume here to push price back up. However, we saw that there were buyers here, and there were a little bit more buyers there, but now it came back into this zone. It got rejected to say, oh no, there are sellers. There are more sellers in this zone pushing the price down. So I would expect to see right now, we saw another red candle. In order for us to see huge price movement up, we need to see a green candle like this, or at a minimum, we need to see a blue candle coming here to show, hey, I've got strength to turn around this price to move back up. If we don't see that, we would more than likely expect to see another big red candle coming down. And so if this stays light green and then the next one is light red or whatever, then we're going to see, if it reaches this one zone here, I'd say we're going to see it just get absolutely rejected from that one zone. Now, if this turns blue, or if this turns green, right, as in this type of green here and this blue here, then we should expect to see price zoom straight through. But right now, I'm guessing that there is this is going to hit it, and then this is just going to dump down really hard now. We will see. Anyway, let's zoom out again. That will be something for you to have a look at for the rest of the day. Let's just zoom back out again. So I just want to say before we end this one video that remember, it's always about doing your own due diligence when you get into the market, all right? And it's all about timing, and trying to find the top and trying to find the bottom is speculating. You have to go with the flow, and when the market is telling you it's going down, then just go with the flow. Don't be a contrarian in those times. It's your money, and you know, why buy into something when you can see it's going down? Don't have these false hopes just to think, oh yeah, I'm going to go in. If you think you're going to lose your money and you still do it, then why do it? Just wait, have patience. Just sit back and keep saving your money for a day when the price really went down. And you should have this thought in your head that only get into stocks and shares and stuff like that when there is literally blood on the street, when people are so fearful of prices going down even lower, and it cannot get any lower, and people are scared, people have lost their money, all sorts of stuff. That's the time when you should be getting in, because that's the time when no one else is getting in, because this is economics 101, right? When no one is buying, the price is at its bottom, and you can scoop up as much as you want, right? And you can control the price. You can say, no, I'm not going to buy at that price you want. I'm going to buy it even cheaper. And if you want to sell it to me, then I'll buy it from you. Else, I'll go and ask the person sat next to you that's going to sell it to me at a discount as well. So be very prudent with this, all right? You have to be slightly ruthless as well. Yes, if you're buying something at a very cheap price, that's more than likely because someone has always got to lose out, all right? And if you are buying it at a high price, overpriced, then you are losing out and the other person is gaining. So you always have to remember there are two sides to a transaction. With that said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've got something out of this video. I always get stuff out of these videos doing them. It always helps me to say what's in my mind and to look in detail at what the market's going to do. But I also look from both sides of the coin. I try and look from a neutral side as well, even though I've got my money invested. Now, I did sell some Bitcoin up here and here and here, just little bits all the time. And just because as far as I was concerned is that if the price does go down rapidly, at least I know I took some profits. And if it does have this continuation moving down to lower prices, like it did back in 2022, then at least I've got these funds ready to pick them up. And it seems very tempting to buy back into Bitcoin right here, but we don't have any confirmation of what's going on. We just see it going in a range right now. So buying it here to sell there, well, that's not what I'm all about. I'm all about long-term investments. So with that said, thank you very much for watching. I will only make another video today if we see the price come to here, or if we see the price come to here. Okay, or somewhere around that. So making all-time new highs and making lower lows. Other than that, I will see you in tomorrow's video. Thank you very much and goodbye.